Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where police officers used jaywalking as a pretext to harass a group of kids, but were later found to be lying about the incident. On February 15, 2023, a 16-year-old boy, his cousin, and a friend crossed West 27th Street in Lorain, Ohio, and walked up to the boy's house. Video from the family's surveillance camera shows an unmarked police car pull up, with a Lorain police officer and an agent from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, otherwise known as an ATF agent, getting out and attempting to talk to the boys. However, the boys had already entered the house by that point, and the officers failed to make contact with them. The 16-year-old's mother, Mary Hildreth, witnessed this from the front door and immediately spoke with the two officers in an attempt to find out what the problem was. It's to be noted that the boys did not run from the officers at all. They appeared to calmly walk inside the house after seeing the vehicle pull up. This detail comes into play later in the incident. Another angle from one of the surveillance cameras provides a better visual of the officers pulling up, along with the initial conversation that Miss Hildreth had with them. It can be very clearly heard that Miss Hildreth immediately asked the officers what their concern was, and they responded by asking Miss Hildreth to bring the boys back outside so they could talk to them. As one would imagine, Miss Hildreth was rather confused at that point, asking the officers why she would need to do that. Soon, the conversation became heated when the officers told Miss Hildreth that the boys were jaywalking, and then demanded that she provide their names and immediately send them outside. Watch as the officers realized that Miss Hildreth was not going to bring the boys back out, and then threatened her by stating that she would be charged with obstruction if she refused to comply.
Those fellows that just walked in, can you send them out to talk to us, please? Because I need to talk to them.
What's the problem? They were taking my daughter from the bus.
I need to go talk to them. What's the problem? Right now. I need to talk to them. Right now.
What did they do?
They were walking in the middle of the street, and I need to talk to them. So please send them out here.
What do you mean? Well, they just crossed over.
Man, this isn't up for debate. They need to come
I'm not
outside.
arguing with you.
You are. You
Yes,
absolutely
I
are.
was watching on my window, and they literally just crossed over.
Yeah, they crossed over and not a crosswalk. So please send them outside for me.
There is no crosswalk over
97.
here.
Send them outside.
Do you think this is going to make anything better or what?
I'm saying, he said.
I'm saying to you, so
Rated
Yeah,
listen, you need to lower your voice. Lower your voice.
I'm an
Then
adult.
act like one and send the gentleman out so we
Okay,
can talk to them.
they are my.
Okay, he's a police officer. He's asking you to speak
Okay,
to them. It
and
doesn't
y'all came
matter.
from that way, and they came from this
Okay,
way.
what
They
does that
went to
do?
the corner to get my
So
daughter
you're not
off
going
the
to
bus.
send
They
them
just
out.
came
You're not
back
going to send them out.
and said the bus
You're not
was
going to
late.
send them out.
So what's
You're
the
not going to
problem?
send them out.
Why? I mean, you
Are you going to send them out or not? Because this can go an entirely different way. You want to get arrested for obstructing? We can go that route too.
Obstructing what?
Send them.
Regardless, Miss Hildreth explained to the officers that the boys were only gone to pick her daughter up from the bus, when suddenly her son wanted to come back for a quick trip to the toilet. That was precisely when the officers pulled up. In response to this, one of the officers yelled at Miss Hildreth and demanded that she bring the boys out right away, adding that it would be the last time he'd ask. Following this, the second officer had a conversation with Miss Hildreth, where he claimed that the boys scurried inside when they pulled up and asked them to stop. However, if we look back at the surveillance camera footage, not one of the 3 boys appeared to flee inside.
They have rights, I have rights as well.
Yeah, and their rights right now are to come outside so I can speak with them. I'm conducting a lawful traffic stop on these 3 males.
A traffic stop?
Yes, correct.
That don't even make sense. I've been on the phone with my mother. My daughters were late from their bus, and they went to go down there to get them. And now you're saying it's a traffic violation?
You're right, because they're jaywalking, not in a crosswalk, across the street.
Jaywalking.
Send them outside last time I'm asking. Last time, I promise you it is. Last time. You're being difficult.
No, he is being rude, and we have rights, and I'm a fucking adult, and there are cameras on this block, just like on my house. What the fuck did my son do?
We're jaywalking. How many times?
Jaywalking, they cross through the alley in this way. I don't understand why you're saying they jaywalk.
Okay, all right.
So when my daughters come and they start crossing this way, are they going to get charged for jaywalking as well? That's ridiculous.
You understand you're just prolonging this.
No, I'm saying, what is his problem? What the fuck? Because he's an officer, he thinks he can talk to me any fucking kind of way.
No, man, listen, but-
I have rights. I know my fucking law.
Okay, that's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel better?
No, do you feel better? Did you
No.
think you got a fucking badge? Do you think you got run shit like I deal with police shit all the fucking time? Y'all think that y'all carry a badge that y'all can be disrespectful and talk to people like that
Okay.
and treat people like that? They're fucking minors. He's pulling up like I say I'm robbed the bank and he's screaming and yelling.
He's not screaming and yelling. You're coming out guns hot, and he needs to rise to the level that
I'm
you
just sitting out
are.
my window and I see my son come across the street with my nephew and his friend, and y'all pull up all crazy.
Okay, and we asked them to stop for a minute, and they scurried inside.
What do you mean, they scurried? They even
Hey,
say nothing.
I'm not arguing the phone with you. I'm telling you what happened. You either want to agree with me or you don't. It doesn't make a difference.
Okay,
Explain to
so
me what
if I
happened.
show my camera right now, you said something to my son. Because there's 4 cameras and there's cameras.
Go ahead, pull it up. I said, hey, fellas, hold up a
So
second.
you ain't think you seen this the whole time?
No, because they walked in this door.
Exactly.
Exactly, so I'm right. Thank you.
So you're getting them for jaywalking? That don't even make sense.
All right, listen, you want to go whatever room, you go whatever room you want.
Then, the first officer approached the house again and asked for all the boys' names. Miss Hildreth initially hesitated to provide the officer with any information, but soon complied and gave away the information that was asked. At that point, Miss Hildreth was quite agitated because of the unbelievable situation, and while she explained things to the officers, one of them told her to shut up and let him speak. Then, he informed Miss Hildreth that when he initiates a traffic stop, he has every legal right to speak with the suspects. He also added that he would get warrants to legally enter the house and take the kids into custody if she continued to keep them inside the house. Essentially, the officer threatened Miss Hildreth with breaking into the house. As this went on,
I was standing in the door the whole time. I put them down there to get the girls off the bus. The bus is late.
Where were the
They
girls?
crossed through
There's no
alley.
girls.
They crossed here, and this cop pulled up all crazy, screaming and yelling. And saying they jaywalk. I said, they literally came off the alley across the street. I'm watching them out the window. The other cop screaming and yelling.
Man, what's those kids' names?
Jordan, my son, Jordan Barnett, he's a minor. Jacob is his friend, and my nephew Sirius. Like, I don't understand. They're minors, like, they literally just came this way to get my daughter from the bus. I don't understand what the problem is.
Okay, well, I've already told you.
No, you're supposed to yell at me.
Yes, because you want to sit out
No,
here,
because you're
belligerent,
working
and
with
tell
me.
me
I'm asking
that I
what's
don't have a
going on.
legal
They
right.
are minors. I'm his mother.
Yeah, and when I try to, if you shut up for 1 second, if I do a traffic stop, I have every legal right to go out with them. They run in this house, I have a legal right to speak with
He
them.
was down there at the bus.
Alright, I'll get warrants for him. I'll get warrants.
Warrants for
I
minors?
don't care.
For
I
minors?
don't care. What's their name?
Warner?
Wait a minute, I was coming to
We're
help.
getting warrants for minors.
What's their name?
Just
make sure they're-
What's their name?
Let's make sure
Give me
they're
their name and date of birth.
I'm telling them, like, where's the girl that they're both like hella late right now.
What is their name? What is their name? What is their name? What is their name? If you don't want to give it to me, I will arrest you for obstructing. I'm not playing around. What is their names?
I just told you, my son's name is Jordan Barnett. He is a fucking minor, Mr. High Horse. Rude as fuck.
Okay. What's Jordan's birthday?
10/4/2006. Do you want his birth certificate so you can have proof of his age because I'm lying or
No,
something?
I believe you.
Like the
What's
fuck?
the other one's name?
His friend's name is Jacob.
Jacob what?
I don't know, it's his friend. I'm not his fucking parent.
Well, tell Jacob to come down here then. What's the third one's name?
Serious?
Terrius? How do you spell that?
I don't know. I didn't name him that.
If you could, just tell them to come down here. That way I can get
The
their name.
police are here saying they're gonna arrest me and get a warrant for Jordan, Kate, and Jacob because I sent them to the corner to get the girls. The bus was late and they came through the alley and walked. Police come from the whole opposite way, talking about pulling up all places, talking about they gonna get them for jaywalking. I said for crossing over the street after they went to get their sister and they went late to the bus.
That's correct. If you could just have him come down here and talk to me, we can end this whole thing right
They're
now.
saying they're getting them for traffic violations and I'm impeding and they're going to arrest me because they ran when clearly they didn't. And I was up here in the middle the whole time watching.
Hey, excuse me, ma'am.
Ms. Hildreth got on a phone call with a relative who's a lawyer, and he advised that Ms. Hildreth should ask for the officer's name and badge numbers. However, when Ms. Hildreth did that, one of the officers claimed that he didn't need to provide her with any information, simply replying with ATF, which implied that just because he was a federal agent, it was not required for him to give away his identification. This is obviously untrue.
Talk to him. Don't talk to him. He's there. He's there. He's gonna stay
Matter
there.
of fact, can I please have your name and your badge number?
On the stairs, 4081.
Oh, you new cop. So you must be happy.
ATF. There you go.
What?
ATF.
Okay, what's your name? That's, okay, but I can still have you. Yes, by law, you have to give me your name and badge
You
number.
want to talk to me or no?
What? He's not giving me it. He said he's ATF. He don't have to give me his name and badge number. But there's other cops around in the back of the house.
All right.
Name and date of birth, adding that they needed her information for their records. By then, it started to become obvious that the officers were just trying to pull the strings and impose authority over Miss Hildreth. For several minutes ahead, both officers continued to demand Miss Hildreth's information, making it appear as if they were in a mindless pursuit of running her details in the system and getting something out of the situation.
My husband would like to see
What's your name?
He wants my name now. I don't know. He told me to take
No,
me
I
to
need
jail
it for the
because of
report.
minors
I
and
need it for the
don't know their
report.
names.
I need it for the report. What is your name?
They're all behind the house. Can you guys please get off my property? Can you please get off of my property?
Because we have a legal right to be here. Last chance.
What?
What's your name?
No, there's like four police officers around the freaking house.
What is your name?
Like, this is ridiculous.
What is your name?
My name is Mary.
Mary what?
What do you have last name for?
Because I need it for the report.
For what report?
You have prolonging this to an
Look,
unreasonable.
I'm trying to get out of here. You're the one that keeps on arguing. So please
Jordan
just give me
and
my...
fucking Jacob.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Alright, time to get the girls off the bus.
Mary, what is your last name? And we will get everyone off your property. What is your last name?
Mary Hildreth.
Hildreth? What is your birthday?
You should be able to find it.
Miss, we're gonna leave if you give it to us.
No, you're not. You're on
You want
bullshit.
it back? I'll leave right now. You give me
Then
your
leave.
birthday. Give me your birthday.
Then leave.
Give me your birthday. 97.
Since all else had failed, then Miss Hildreth demanded that a supervisor be called to the scene immediately. A few minutes later, several more units responded to the scene, and Miss Hildreth started to record the situation on her mobile phone. The following footage captured Miss Hildreth's interaction with the supervisor.
Hello.
You want to speak with the supervisor?
Yes, sir. Are you supervisor? Can I please have your name and badge number? Or are you not allowed to give it to me? Because Mr. Guy in the ATF said he don't have to give me his name nor badge number because he's an ATF officer.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Because I was literally in the window the whole time. Sent my son and my nephew and his friend to go get my daughters off the bus. They went down there and waited for 15 minutes. The bus was late. I'm still in my window as they come through the alley, get right here at my neighbor's driveway, and cross over. My son said, I can't wait no more, Mom. I got to use the bathroom. I'm still in the window as he's halfway through the yard coming in here. This car flies up out of nowhere. Don't say nothing. As I'm already down here, they're jumping out, getting ready to run around the house. I come to the door and say, what's going on? We want the boys to run out. I said, my son, what's the problem? He's a minor. We got to talk to him. I said, what is the problem? It's a traffic violation. I said, what do you mean? Can I have your name back? Then he's screaming and yelling. I said, you don't have to scream and yell at me. I'm a fucking adult. That is my son. What did he do wrong?
Around these little kids, how's that sound?
It's nothing new. Like, we're not. Like,
So you're demanding stuff of this guy, but
This-
you won't cooperate with him?
thinks he don't have to do this and he don't have to do this because they're officers. It don't work like that. That's not how it works.
How does it work?
What do you mean?
How does it work?
He's a minor. I am his mother. So why can't he tell me whatever it is? Oh, well, we'll go. Give me your name. But then they call 5, 6, 7 more.
You didn't cooperate at first.
Yes, I did.
You didn't give
And I advised him that I have cameras.
Not at first.
You weren't here, sir. I have cameras. Yes, I sure did. Sure did. Okay, good. I'm glad. Because some of you need cameras. Honestly.
So how can I don't know why I'm here.
Well, ask him. He feels that he
You
don't.
asked to speak with the supervisor. I don't
Okay,
know how I can
he
help.
said my son is getting a traffic violation for crossing the street.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can write him the ticket. I mean, what is the point? Then he's asking me for his friends. I don't know no information in regards to his friend besides his first name. I'm not his mother. I'm not his parents. Then all these police already surround. Oh.
After this, the supervisor spent a few minutes speaking with the officers on the scene before returning to Miss Hildreth. This is where the two officers that initially made contact with Miss Hildreth get caught in a lie. The supervisor implied that the reason the officers wanted to stop the boys was because they were playing with their waistbands, which created suspicion that they might have been carrying firearms. Note how this was completely different from the story that the two officers told Miss Hildreth in the beginning, when they claimed they wanted to speak with the boys over a minor jaywalking violation. But Miss Hildreth only now realized that they had other intentions.
I wear a badge that y'all have entitlement to civilians.
Man, what's your name so I can get out of here?
They're trying to, I don't know, because more than likely when they come out,
You're arguing, I'm trying to leave. What is your name?
you're on speakerphone right now, they can hear you.
Where's your car?
All right, the one who's
Right here.
rude and has an attitude.
There. Let's take a picture of her
Here.
car.
My husband would like to see
What's your name?
He wants my name now. Huh? I don't know. He told me to take
No,
me
I
to
need
jail
it for the
because they're
report.
minors
I
and
need
I
it for the
don't know their
report.
names.
I need it for the report. What is your name?
They're all behind the house. Can you guys please get off my property? Can you please get off of my property?
Because we have a legal right to be here. Last chance.
What?
What's your name?
No, there's like 4 police. There's 4 police officers around the freaking house.
What is your name?
Like, this is ridiculous.
For the report. I need it for the report. What is your name?
The footage cuts off at this point, and the supervisor continued to give his explanation to Miss Hildreth. A continuous verbal exchange carried on, and eventually, as made evident by the surveillance camera footage, all the officers promptly left the scene after realizing that they had messed up. Watch how all the officers rushed back in their patrol vehicles and drove off shamelessly. No jaywalking tickets were handed to any of the 3 teenagers, which just proved once again that this entire situation had nothing to do with that in the first place. The officers simply wanted to harass the boys and fish for something that wasn't there, while covering it up and masking it with the excuse of keeping the neighborhood safe. Ultimately, although the 3 teenagers were not accused of any wrongdoing, Miss Hildreth was charged by the Lorain police for obstructing official business. According to Fox 8, she stated that she would be fighting this charge in court.
The 3 teenagers were not charged with a crime, but Mary Hildreth was charged by Lorain police with obstructing official business, a charge that she says she fully intends to fight.
According to Ohio Revised Code 2921.31, it stated that no person without privilege to do so with purpose to prevent, obstruct, or delay the performance by a public official of any authorized act within the public official's official capacity shall do any act that hampers or impedes a public official in the performance of the public official's lawful duties. Whoever violates this section is guilty of obstructing official business. Except as otherwise provided in this division, obstructing official business is a misdemeanor of the 2nd degree. If a violation of this section creates a risk of physical harm to any person, obstructing official business is a felony of the 5th degree. Taking this into account, One could argue that Miss Hildreth was certainly not trying to obstruct the officers' lawful duties by keeping them in check regarding their reasons for speaking to the minors. In fact, it's her right to question law enforcement and make sure nothing malicious is being conducted. Miss Hildreth stated that, "I felt like that was just their way to get back at me because I wouldn't let the boys outside and they couldn't have their way with the boys, and I stood up for them." As per the latest updates provided, Lorain police are standing by their actions and defending themselves. It's reported that according to investigators who looked into this encounter, the police officer and the ATF agent believed that the three teenagers were in possession of firearms, just based on their mannerisms while walking on the street. In addition to this, Chief Jim McCann told Fox 8 that the boys walked with one arm to their waist, no movement, no shoulder movement, neither arm swinging, and a gait change. In response to this statement, Miss Hildreth claimed that the officers were judging a book by its cover, which was unfair to the boys. Currently, Miss Hildreth has filed a formal complaint against Lorain police after she realized that the officers portrayed her as the aggressor in the police reports. Meanwhile, the investigative file in the case is at the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office for a complete review, and an outcome is still pending. The Hildreth family is also planning a lawsuit as of the date of this recording. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter